Hey everybody, we're finally back with another NCPL draft and of course another draft analysis. The NCPL is hosting the Commander Draft this time around. The Commander Draft is from Tier 3 Pokemon to Tier 5 Pokemon. Picking one Tier 3 Pokemon as your Commander. Your Commander, once picked, is locked in and cannot be traded, as well as this Pokemon must be brought to every single game. This Pokemon is extremely important, guys. If you guys want a full breakdown of the rules, I'll make sure to leave a link for those rules as well as the group if you want to be a part of it and try and compete in those drafts. A quick recap of the NCPL though, they have their own tier list, and this tier list only softly represents Smogon tiers. And quickly to mention before we get started here with Hayden's draft, how I do these draft analysis is I base it on 5 attributes. Of course, there's way more that goes into team building, but I feel like these five attributes are extremely important when drafting and are broad enough to make a good analysis. So those 5 attributes are offense, defense, speed, hazards, and momentum. So, but with that said, jumping into this today with me will be Calvin, the founder of the NCPL and one of 2 of the S rank players. So his critique is very, very highly valued here. Calvin, if you want to say hi to everybody.
Hey guys, it's good to be here. I was a big fan of Ross's analysis on season 6, so we're definitely bringing this back, and he's made some really great improvements to the format. And yeah, we have like 4 more teams than last time to go through, so
Oh
I
yeah,
figured he needed a little help this time.
yeah. It'll be nice to get some extra input as well as uh, your input and critique of teams is at a higher level than mine. So I'm very happy to have somebody else on here. So
All right,
first up
awesome.
is Hayden. So I scored his team 40 and a half. Now this is a huge, huge dramatic improvement from his last team. He was pretty adamant with me that he wanted to have a plan and have a core this time around. So I think that really came to fruition this time, eh?
Oh, absolutely. Hayden has traditionally been held back by a lot of his drafts.
Mm-hmm.
I can maybe point out 2 seasons out of the 7 he's played in that have been above average. So this is even further ahead of that. I would say arguably, at least in the sword division, this is easily one of the best drafts on a face value.
Absolutely. I think I mean I scored his defense a 10, so I think his defense is one of the best, if not the best, in that division right now. Just like with blanket coverage. I mean, he's got Slowking, Eldegoss, Moltres, Registeel. I mean, those 4 together, that's gonna be really, really hard to break for most teams, especially with these lower tier Pokemon. I mean, Registeel alone is freaking, you know, 150 base defense and
Yeah,
150 base special defense, right?
absolutely. In a low tier tournament like this, like a Pokemon like Registeel is going to shine much better than he would have, say, in some of our last seasons, just because even though his offenses may seem low, once you start snowballing with curses or iron defenses,
Yeah.
he quickly becomes a problem. And the fact that he doesn't have any 4 times weaknesses to exploit, it's going to be a real nuisance taking something like that down.
Yeah. I'm pretty interested to see what people will do to deal with that because I mean, I guess you could phase it and make sure that it's not going to be setting up, but I mean, how do you end up killing it is the biggest issue here. To get rid of it. Um, so for the commander though, Hayden drafted Slowking as his commander. Now we talked a lot about his commander. He went back and forth a lot between Swampert, Mega Steelix, and Slowking, and he ended up choosing Slowking. And I was super happy that he did because I think this is gonna really, really do well for his team.
Yeah, he's one of the few guys here that actually has created a little regenerator core, and it just works so well as far as something he has to bring every week. It's just gonna fit in almost every single circumstance, whether you're wanting it to be, say, like a tank set, you want to run assault vest with just 4 moves, which in
Mm-hmm.
draft is amazing because the coverage a Pokemon like Slowking gets is unparalleled.
Yeah. Yeah.
Flamethrower, grass, ice, water, that
I
basically
think
covers almost everything.
doesn't have Thunderbolt, but it has Thunder Wave, right?
Yes, I
Yeah.
believe so.
But it has Grass
So
and it has Ice Beam.
yeah, so the coverage is very good. And even then, if you want to say he's your win condition, you could go physically defensive, run Calm Mind, or just the standard teleport with healing, future sight. Like
Yeah.
all the options is so easy to just
Bring
put
it
on
to
any
every
team.
game. Yeah. Basically.
So I think he did a really good job picking his commander.
No, I totally agree. So I rated his offense a 7.5, and so while I think his defense is extremely good, I think his offense is good, but I don't think it's as superior as his defense. That doesn't mean it's I don't that doesn't mean I think it's bad. I just think those Pokemon that are defensive are his some of his best offensive options, and the saying "your best offense is a good defense." I feel like that saying really goes well for Hayden's team.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely, the offense is a little weak on his end. But I wouldn't say it's so bad that it's a major problem. It's just
Yeah,
yeah, you have to look at it in different ways, right?
yeah,
Like being able to take hits and retaliate is
hmm
still offensive,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And he's going to be able to do that pretty damn well. Um, as far as like straight up offensive ways he'll be able to incorporate his team into battles, I think Archeops is really great, especially with dual wing meat this generation. I think that's underrated. It's a tier 5 Aerodactyl
Yeah.
was a very smart pick for him. And its coverage is really good. Its attack, its special attack are very high. The only
That's
thing you got to keep aware of is that his health, obviously with Defeatist,
yeah.
but with heavy duty boots, that's easier than ever.
Does he have good special attack coverage as well? That's one thing I wasn't quite sure. Oh, wait, Heat
It's
Wave?
it's pretty good. Yep, he gets Heat Wave, Focus Blast. He does get where is it? Meteor Beams. So you could run
Oh
some
man,
crazy uh,
yeah.
Meteor Beam shenanigans.
Wow, he gets knockoff too. I was aware he
Um,
got defog, but knockoff is a really big one. U-turn, the taunt will be nice. Switcheroo, that's an underrated thing. Yes.
Right. And with that 110 base speed is a really good landmark to have for something offensive.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Arcops is going to be something where its utility is really good, and offensively on his team, it's going to be really good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now, some of the other options in his offense are a little one dimensional. So the ones I'm going to point to next is Machamp and Ursaring. Uh, you're basically getting similar offense, right?
Yeah.
Physical attacking. But with Ursaring, I think he's got a few more options with Guts and the Toxic
I
boots.
think the Machoke is definitely the better out of the two, just because, like you're saying right now, he's got more options, but he also has much higher bulk.
Right. The thing with Machoke is because he does have a bit of a. It's not a huge major issue, especially with Registeel, but he does have a lingering rock weakness, which Machoke is going to have to definitely be a part of checking.
Yeah.
So I think in most games, Machoke might end up acting more as a check than an actual setup um, sweeper or anything.
Yeah, I imagine he's going to be running Eviolite a lot and probably coming in on checks. I would hope that he would be running um, Eviolite on it almost every time. I don't see I don't see the point in running any other item just because you're like you're saying that rock weakness. He's kind of got to cover that, especially to keep Moltres healthy.
Right. But I do like the Mega Glalie on his team. That's a very unique pick, and for a tier 4 powerful ice type like itself is really great. Base 100 speed. with the refrigeratability is going to make it very strong, right?
Yeah, he'll be able to take out some Pokemon that are just giving him problems with that refrigerator explosion too.
Oh yeah, and with Earthquake to help, give it kind of that
Hmm.
Mammo Swine coverage.
Yeah, yeah, because it's got Ice
That's a
Shard,
great option.
Freeze Dry as well.
Yeah, and that is something to also to remember with Hayden's team is as far as priority goes, the only two options he does have is Ice Shard, Mega Glalie, and Bullet Punch from Machoke. Sorry.
Yeah, those are the two offensive priority, but he does have Prankster with Meowstic too.
Right, which is a little different, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, overall, I think 7.5 is a fair score. I think it's not overwhelming, which I would put if it was overwhelming, I'd start be putting in the eights. I think it's a little bit above average in terms of bulky offense, especially with screens and getting teleport free switches with getting Ursaring or Archeops in to either Meteor Beam or Head Smash or whatever, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think he's gonna have to be a little creative with his offense.
Yeah.
Like utilizing that slow king will be good. But yeah, I think 7.5 is very fair.
Okay. Yeah. So with his offense being 7.5, we're on to his defense, and I think this is Hayden's strongest point to his team. I rated it a 10. I imagine breaking Slowking, Eldegoss, Registeel, and Moltres, if they all come to one game, is going to be insanely hard for any team if Hayden's playing smart and not over predicting, which he does have a habit of doing. If he just plays safe, gets that chip damage down, and continues to play patient until he can get Archeops in or Glalie in on a safe switch to clean up, I think that's how he's got to play his defense. Like you said, be able to retaliate and use it as offense.
Right. I think his defensive core, he's got a really powerful Firewater Grass with all have amazing recovery options. That's a huge thing to remember.
Mm-hmm.
Slack can get Slack off, Moltres has Roost, Eldegoss has Regenerator, Leech, Aromatherapy, Synthesis. They all cover themselves quite nicely.
Yeah.
The only thing I will say is, as far as other team members go, there's no wish support or anything. So typically, in most cases, I feel like breaking down the defensive core is going to be a real problem for many people.
Yeah.
But eliminating his threats are probably going to be a little easier
Yeah.
because Hayden is an impatient player.
Yeah.
So as long as he can play longer games and hold, have some uh, restraint in
Yeah.
just leading with like Ursaring, I think he'll be able to hold it all together. And yeah,
Leading
absolutely
with
powerful
Ursaring.
defenses.
That's a total Hayden move right there. Lead with Ursaring, set up Swords Dance.
Yeah, like, and in some cases it might work, but
Yeah.
like that's not really the strength of his team.
Yeah. No, I do agree a lot. If he can play patiently, I think at 10 is definitely makes sense. If he doesn't, I feel like his team will crumble quite easily. Just because, like you said, his offense really is kind of one dimensional. It doesn't really have much options outside of those Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
But next is his speed. So this one I kind of had trouble rating. I was in the range from uh 7 and 7.5, and then sometimes I thought about 6.5. And the reason that I have it at 7.5, Archeops being was it base 110? It was.
Yes, it's base 110.
And then he has quick feet on Ursaring, which is still extremely slow. It's really not that fast. The Thunder Wave
Well,
with Meowstick, and then the base 100 on Mega Glalie. And then that's where I kind of just started getting stuck. Um,
yeah,
his speed and
it's his
it,
speed is definitely underwhelming. I would say.
yeah. Um, I feel like with his speed, I mean, see, this is the thing too. It's right. It's a lower tier, so the speed tiers are not quite as high. Um, with I think Talonflame and Ambipom being and Excelgor being some of the fastest, but other than that, nobody's close. I don't think. So that was kind of where I was having troubles with rating Hayden's speed, because I think the base 100 for Mega Glalie is okay. The Archeops I think is excellent, and the Quick Feet, if he decides to use it, I don't think Hayden will, but I think he should sometimes. Um, yeah, see now I'm going back. I almost think that I should have put it at like 6.5 or maybe even 7.
Yeah, so here's my kind of thought on it. Like having a high speed tier Pokemon is going to be very important in this draft just because the power levels of everything are much lower unless you're fighting fat teams like this.
Mm-hmm.
Which I will say the speed in that sense doesn't really hurt him that much
Mm-hmm.
because he's not relying on the speed to defeat his opponents in most cases.
Yeah.
But he's still going to need it if things get out of hand to keep things in check.
Yeah.
And that's where problems arise. So, for example, Archeops is basically in a revenge killer role
Mm-hmm.
as far as the speed goes because he's gonna want to outspeed either everything under 110, and there is actually quite a few Pokemon that hit the 110 mark and above. Almost many teams actually have at least one, and he's either matching the 110s or he's outsped by them.
Mm-hmm.
So this is potentially putting Archeops in a tough position. Do I run Scarf? Am I being offensive every single game? If that's the case, then Reggie Steele's running the rocks, so you can
Yeah.
automatically, that's making Reggie Steele predictable.
Mm-hmm.
That's putting more pressure on Archeops in actually revenge killing everything on the opponent's team.
Yeah.
And Earthring, for some context, unless my math is bad, Quick Feet only puts him at 344. That's jolly. Archeops is still faster.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I mean. The Quick Feet was like kind of good, but he's still not very fast.
Yeah. One interesting thing though is his support system helps with the speed a bit. And
Yeah.
what I'll say is Meowstick with Thunderwave
Yeah.
and Archeops with Tailwind.
Yeah.
So that does help a bit. So like, yeah, Earthring with Guts with Tailwind, instead of being Quick Feet hitting 344, if he's Guts and has Tailwind support, now he's at 458. Now he's outspeeding Scarfers and just max speed revenge killers.
Yeah,
So
see, I didn't even think about that. Tailwind for Ursaring. I mean, that'd be pretty fucking terrifying. Holy fuck. Wow.
yeah.
Wow,
Not much switching into that.
No. Yeah, and I don't think there was too many ghost types drafted either. Let me check sort. Oh, Dewblade.
There was. I felt like a couple people got a little crazy with them and drafted a couple on the same team. Like for example, in my division, you got Joshua, who's got Dusclops and Palossand,
Yeah.
but then some people just have nothing.
Yeah.
So like for example, like someone like Vikram
Yeah.
might struggle a little bit against a Tailwind Goods boosted Ursaring.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, that's actually a really good insight there, because that Ursaring has a lot of room to breathe now. With some of those people, actually, oh yeah, some of those people not having ghosts is gonna be really really nice for that Ursaring. Wow. And let's so I guess we could go back and forth on the speed, but I mean 6.5 to 7.5, depending how Hayden uses it, I think is fair.
Yeah, I think that's a fair score.
Next is his hazards. Now I rated this an 8. He kind of surprised me. So in hazards, sometimes I'd like to look at status too, because I mean it's not a hazard per se, but it kind of falls in the same category. It's annoying. You got to deal with it. You got to either aromatherapy / defog. They're kind of similar in that sense. But I scored his an 8. So he's got three forms. uh, of ways to get hazards off the field. Defog from Moltres, Defog from Archeops, and Rapid Spin from Eldegoss. I think that's plenty, especially because Eldegoss and Moltres are going to be coming in and out of the game quite often. So I feel like it's going to be pretty easy for him to get hazards off the field. Um, but as far as setting up hazards, he has spikes with Glalie, rocks with Archeops, rocks with Registeel. Um, and that's kind of as far as it goes for setting up hazards. I don't expect him to really have spikes or rocks on Archeops too often, but it should be brought sometimes to mix up his opponents.
Yeah, like the lead Archeops set is actually quite terrifying because it gets taunt, so you can counter lead people with taunt, and that speed tier
Mm.
is just so good to lead with. So you're taunting, you got U-turn, dual wing beat if you're up against some frailer lead Pokemon, maybe with a scarf, like
Mm-hmm.
say a Smeargle or something.
Yeah.
That'll deal with that. Um, so it definitely does have use as a utility stealth rock setter, but
Right.
it, like you said, in most cases, Registeel will probably
Mm-hmm.
hold the ground on that.
Yeah. Um,
Um,
it doesn't really go too much out of that though. I mean, we're probably going to see Leech Seed a couple times from Eldegoss. Uh, maybe spikes from Mega Glalie. I don't know what you think about the spikes on Mega Glalie though.
that's probably what makes Mega Glalie pretty damn good,
Mm-hmm.
actually, in my opinion.
Okay.
If you're, but it comes down to predictions, and
Yeah.
actually, this is something where I think this is a strength that leads into Hayden's playstyle.
Mm-hmm.
Is if you can predict your opponent to switch to a Glalie counter,
Mm-hmm.
spike on the turn, that
Yeah.
might be something more beneficial than clicking a damaging move, right?
Yeah.
So if you can predict your opponent and play around it, that could be a potential plus, but it all comes down to the player, the opponent, situations.
Yeah.
It's just a cool tool to have, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, neat utility from Glalie. Um, what do you think about the statuses that his team has though?
he's got a lot of Thunderwave.
Yeah.
So Registeel, the Meowstic for sure. Slowking, I don't think he should run too much status on Slowking,
I don't think
but
so
when he
either.
can, like obviously Scald's gonna be burning.
Yeah. He does have
If you
flame
want a
body too.
more exactly, which I was gonna say, he has a way more reliable way of burning Pokemon
Yeah.
with Moltres.
Yeah.
You've got that flame body, you've got manual
Yeah.
Will-O-Wisp, you've got flamethrower chance. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I could definitely see some pissed off, annoying, burnt
Oh yeah.
opponents.
Oh yeah. Every time somebody goes to attack, he switches in Moltres. Burn. Burn. Burn.
Yeah, exactly. And on his end, actually, this is kind of related, but more so in the defense.
Mm-hmm.
He's got ways that punishes opponents for trying to uh, status him. So, like,
Right.
a easy way of breaking down defensive cores,
Yeah.
simple, toxic, right?
Yeah.
Well, now you've got a guts. You've got two guts users
Yeah.
and a quick feet. Like, you can get pretty badly punished with some of those decisions, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't even think about that in the reverse though, but it's pretty fucking hard to punish Hayden's team. I'm starting to really like that I scored at a 40.5. I think it's a really, really strong team. Wow.
Yeah, it's looking like a daunting one for sure to
Wow.
overcome.
Um, so next was momentum. Now momentum's kind of like, um, I mean, I guess it's kind of subjective to whoever is talking about it, but momentum for me is usually like getting in proper switches or free switches. Um, it could be about snowballing too. I think that's another important type of momentum. But momentum for Hayden's team, I think the teleport from Slowking, considering I don't really think many other people drafted teleport type Pokemon, I think that is going to be a huge advantage to Hayden's team being offensive if it needs to be, getting in that free switch. Moltres also having U-turn, and then like you've been saying, the U-turn on Archeops as a lead is super strong as well.
Yeah, and then like kind of the payoffs are what makes it great too. So like a Pokemon like Ursaring might struggle to get in
Mm-hmm.
and opportunities safely, but like the teleport Slow King with Regenerator,
Yeah.
you can get in at any point of the game and activate your Flame Orb or your Toxic Orb, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so momentum in those ways are really good. Now, where I'd say his momentum, as far as like a style, where kind of falters a little bit, is kind of some of the switch-ins that kind of are a little stale
Mm-hmm.
and kind of halt his momentum. And
Yeah.
the two that I will point to is Reggie Steele, because I've used that thing firsthand and it's let me down a lot in season 6,
Yeah.
and Eldegoss.
Mhm.
So Moltres, Slowking have a great little union of U-turn and teleport.
Yeah.
Eldegoss does not. It doesn't get U-turn or anything.
Kind of slows the
And on
pace
top,
down.
exactly. And the biggest fault I'll hold to Eldegoss is even if Moltres and Slowking didn't have those pivoting options, they have decent offense and decent move pools. Eldegoss does not. Eldegoss's moveset is
Yeah.
basically bound to grass and normal type moves,
Yeah, like
which is
Moltres and Slowking
dangerous.
can force switches, allowing you to get a prediction or a nice switch. Whereas, like you're saying, Eldegoss and Registeel probably aren't going to be doing that unless Registeel's a setup Registeel. But like you're saying, their offense is quite weak.
Yeah, Reggie Steele definitely needs a little bit of help getting going.
Hmm.
But like I said before in the offense, once he does get going, like
It's
it
unstoppable
can
almost.
snowball,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. Especially if those players don't have ghost types, they're really gonna have problems with the Registeel and the Ursaring. Both setting up what they do.
Oh, precisely. So yeah, momentum. I think he has pretty good momentum. I don't see too many people with teleport.
Hmm.
Uh, and yeah, getting two U-turners that are decent speed tiers and that aren't particularly bug types is cool.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, he's just gonna have to watch out for those momentum killers like Registeel and Eldegoss. But everything else he's got some pretty good payoffs and things, right? Even Meowstic getting in is typically that's kind of like the reverse momentum killer for his opponents.
yeah.
That's going to be thunder waving any threats or screens, and once he gets screens up, now Reggie Steele's a problem. Now Calm Mind or Nasty Plot
God.
Slowking's a problem.
Yeah, I
So
don't even want to think of Registeel behind screens. Jesus.
yeah, so it all comes down to the opponent if they can stop the snowball effect,
Yeah.
for sure.
So overall, what are your thoughts on Hayden's team before we close it all up?
I really love his team. I don't know if it's the best team to be in his hands,
Sean's
but
team.
oh, if this is a Sean team or even a me team, I could see myself using a team like this.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
very dangerous. But you know what? Hayden is a competent player.
Hmm.
If, like I said, if he can keep his patience in check and don't get disgruntled about certain things and just
Yeah.
prep every week,
Hmm.
I think this can be a very very strong team. And just watch out for certain typings.
Yeah.
Uh, he does struggle with ghosts
Yeah.
very badly, actually. Besides Ursa Ring, he's got nothing, man.
Yeah.
Electric types. Now he does have Eldegoss, but like I said, Eldegoss is a momentum ender. Most electric types are just volt switching, and nothing else on his team appreciates that.
Yeah.
Uh, Two other types I just want to mention quickly: Dragon.
Hmm.
Uh, Similar with Registeel. Registeel's a momentum killer,
Yeah.
but it is a very powerful steel type. So he does have one good dragon type.
Hmm.
So, but he doesn't have wish support or anything. And Registeel's health is limited to leftovers rest. So he's going to have to be very careful when fighting dragons.
Hmm.
And the last thing I want to mention is dark types. He's got a couple dark weak, like Slowking, like
Meowstick.
Meowstick. His only answer to that is going to be Machoke. Once again, does not have any effective healing, so he's going to have to be careful with those.
And what do you think about score? Think 40? You think higher? You think lower?
Using your scale here, uh, I think that's totally fair.
Yeah.
Honestly, 40. Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's see that that's why it's really great that you're here because you pointed out a lot of things that I think is going to be really good for Hayden. Um, especially his weaknesses. Because I was thinking about this in the reverse, that it's really advantageous for people that are versing him, but I think you pointed out a lot of things that could be good for Hayden too. So I'm hoping Hayden will give this a watch too, and check out some of the points that you made.
Yeah, for sure. Good luck, Hayden, this season, and just keep your Yamcha self in check.
All right, Calvin. Thanks for coming out for this one, and I hope we can get you on Chris's because it's really great having you on here.
Thanks for having me, bro.
All right, guys. We'll see you on the next one.